The ancient Irish monastery of Clonmacnoise, the Meadow of the Sons of Nos. This age-old monastery has over 1,000 years of Irish history associated with it. Today it's found in County Offaly on the River Shannon in the Irish Midlands, and in recent history it's been visited by many notable figures such as Pope John Paul II. This is Ancient Origins, and today we're going to be looking at the top 5 facts about Clonmacnoise. Ancient sources tell us that it was built in the year 544 AD by the Irish Saint Ciaran, who was one of the so-called 12 Apostles of Ireland. These were 12 early Irish monastic saints of the 6th century who studied under the great Saint Finian at his famous monastic school, Clonard Abbey. This made Clonmacnoise Monastery hugely important to the early Christians of Ireland. Shortly after his arrival, Saint Ciaran built the first church at the site with the help of a man named Diarmaid MacCurbal. This was a small wooden structure and the first of many churches to come. Later, Diarmaid was to be the first Christian crowned High King of Tara, showing how far the Christian religion had permeated the country. He is one of the many High Kings buried in Clonmacnoise. In September of 549, not yet 33 years of age, Ciaran died of a plague and was reportedly buried under the original wooden church, now known as Temple Ciaran. By the 9th century, Clonmacnoise was the most famous and world-renowned monastery in Ireland. This had its benefits and its drawbacks. On the positive side, it was visited by priests and scholars from all corners of Europe and was considered a hub of Christian learning and culture. On the other hand, it was attacked frequently during this time, mostly by Irish Celts, Vikings and Normans. As a result, the early wooden structures were replaced by more durable stone ones for protection, and the original population of fewer than 10 men grew to as many as 2,000 over the next few centuries. Although this site was based around a core of churches, crosses, graves and ecclesiastical dwellings and workshops, it would have been surrounded by the houses and streets of a large secular community who settled around it. It was located quite strategically in a central location near the River Shannon for both protection and ease of access to the surrounding towns, which made it very inviting for secular settlers. Surrounding the site were many metal workers, craftsmen and farmers who supported the monastic clergy and their students. Artisans associated with the site created some of the most beautiful and enduring artworks in metal and stone ever seen in Ireland. Notable items include works like the Clonmacnoise crozier. A crozier is a pastoral staff carried by a bishop in Catholicism, and this golden item was found at the shrine of Saint Ciaran. Another impressive work is the Cross of the Scriptures, which is an excellently preserved Celtic high cross. High crosses were used for a variety of purposes, including as meeting points for religious ceremonies or to mark boundaries between territories. Lastly, Labor na Húdra, or the Book of the Dun Cow, is a vellum manuscript dating to the 1100s, which was written and compiled here. It's the oldest surviving Irish manuscript, though it is badly damaged. It contains over 35 myths and legends, many of which are sadly now incomplete due to wear and tear. It was reportedly written by a scribe named Mael Muire MacCailachar, which means servant of Mary, who was murdered in a Viking raid in 1106 according to the Annals of the Four Masters. There were many high kings in Ireland, but perhaps the most famous of all was the great Brian Boru. Renowned for ending the reign of the O'Neills and defending Ireland from Viking invasion at the Battle of Clontarf, he is a historical figure whose reputation precedes him. But many don't know that he had a very close association with Clonmacnoise. Brian came from a clan in County Clare and had a happy childhood. That was until the Vikings arrived. Marauders came and pillaged Brian's home, killing many of his family, including his adored mother. Heartbroken, the child Brian was sent by his surviving relatives to the monastery of Clonmacnoise for safety and to be educated by the monks. In spite of his youth, Brian earned respect from his peers and teachers, becoming an avid reader and learning strategies on warfare from great military leaders, which he used throughout his career on the battlefield. After spending years at Clonmacnoise receiving this knowledge, he returned home full of wisdom and ideas on how to defeat the Vikings. This was a pivotal moment in his life. Clonmacnoise always had its problems, even aside from the constant attacks and raids. Towards the end of the 7th century, the plague also carried off a large number of its students and professors. However, the real nail in the coffin came around the 12th century. The reasons were varied, but in part this was because Athlone, to the north of Clonmacnoise, became the main trading town for the Midlands of Ireland, the most popular route for crossing the Shannon, as well as the best defended settlement in the region. People migrated north of Clonmacnoise to Athlone, and with the fall in population went much of the support that the site needed to survive. Former allies began to recognise the decline in the site's influence, and sadly they abandoned it. The import of religious orders such as the Franciscans and the Augustinians around the same time also fed into this decline as competing sites began to appear. Clonmacnoise quickly fell into a state of poverty. Finally, in 1552, the English garrison at Athlone destroyed and looted Clonmacnoise for the final time, leaving it in ruins. However, much of the structure still stands, as we can see, a testament to the awe-inspiring symbol of medieval Ireland's scholarly monastic past. Today, the preserved site is managed by the Office of Public Works, and much like in its heyday, people still come from all over the world to visit and see the stone structures that remain. And seemingly, thus ends the story of Clonmacnoise. Well, that's the end of this video, guys. We really hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to our Ancient Origins channel for more fascinating videos like this one. We have new content coming out all the time. So thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a great day.